The following is an exclusive presentation of Optimum. We're your TV, phone, and internet company.
Going back, can't get it. It's off the bed. That ball hits the deep left center field. They will send him home. Deep left field. Going back is Hughes. It's gone. 3-run homer for Jesse Del. Oh, what a play by Cataldi. Going the right way. Diving play. Scooped up at third. Over to second for one. Over to first. Double play. Game over. From the Mauritius Sports Complex in Mauritius, New York, Optimum presents Championship Travel Baseball. Today, it's the semifinal matchup in the USSSA 12U tournament between the Long Island Mudcats and the Bronx Bombers. Hello and welcome to the Mauritius Sports Complex. I'm Hal Sass, joined by Russ Blatt. Glad to have you with us for our coverage of Championship Travel Baseball here on Optimum. Well, Russ, since the age of 5 or 6, most kids have played some form of baseball, be it Little League, American Legion, town or community events. Today we're going to see kids with a lot of experience taking to the field.
Yeah, these kids have played hundreds of games in their life, and they're very young still, and you'll see their experience show today. Two good teams.
Let's talk about this tournament. It is a USSSA sponsored tournament, 12 and under, and these kids have played a lot of baseball in the last 24 hours.
The last 24 hours, each of these teams played at least 4 games, and they're well rested and ready to go today because they want to win this tournament.
Let's take a look at the two teams. We'll start off with the Long Island Mudcats, 85, 28, and 7 this year. They've played a lot of games. An interesting story as we take a look at their road to the top. In the pool round, they lost to the Jays, but came back with a victory over the Long Island Storm. And then in the playoff round, a 15-0 win over the Smithtown Bulls. And this is an interesting team in the fact that they're basically an 11 and under team that has reached this semifinal matchup.
Yeah, they're playing kids a year older than them, and they've done that half the time this year. So more than 50 of their games this year have been against the older kids.
Well, they're going to take on a tough opponent in the Bronx Bombers. Talk about a team with experience, 143 and 22, 165 games they've played this year. They are truly experienced on the field.
Yeah, these kids have basically played a full major league season in 2012, and as you'll see in the road to the finals today, they don't play their games too long.
Yeah, their road to the top, as we take a look at that, has been pretty good. They have been dominating. In the original Pool A, they defeated Smithtown St. James 15-0, and then they came back and beat the Island Tree Bulldogs 17-1. The number 1 seed, they get a bye in the first round. Freddie Rojas, a right-handed pitcher, will be on the mound for them. This is a team that basically has shown great offense. We don't know much about their defense because the games have ended so quickly.
Yeah, these have been run-rule games. They play their 2-inning games, and they walk off happy. They're not in the field too long.
So it's the Long Island Mudcats and the Bronx Bombers. Semifinal action in this SSSA 12 and under tournament. We're back to the Mauritius Sports Complex right after this on Optimum.
Join the Global Recreation Network and USSSA on the 2013 Junior Golf Tour. The tour will be played on some of the best courses on Long Island and is open to both boys and girls between the ages of 9 and 18. Call today. Play the best. Play USSSA.
All Out Sports is where it's at for all your softball needs. We're affiliated with top manufacturers, so you can guarantee that what you buy is top of the line. Add alloutsportsonline.com to your favorites. Check us out for the best deals.
Welcome back to the Mauritius Sports Complex in Mauritius. Today's game is being brought to you by Optimum. We're your TV, phone, and internet company. We are just about ready to get started with the pregame festivities. Teams taking to their individual dugouts. We'll take a look at the game rules for this 12 and under division. They'll play 6 innings. Leading and stealing is allowed. Infield fly rule is in effect. And the mercy rule, 15 runs after 2 innings, 8 runs after 3 innings. We saw the Bronx Bombers have a relatively easy time in getting the mercy rule with the 15-run rule after 2 innings in 2 of their games this year. So we're hoping for a long game as the Mudcats, a younger team, the team that we talked about in the open, basically an 11 and under team taking on the behemoth in the Bronx Bombers.
Yeah, the Bronx Bombers, as we showed in the road to the finals, have put up 32 runs in 2 games. And they only let up 1, but it's only because they only have to play the field for a couple innings. But the Mudcats, as we said, are also a very scrappy team. You'll see a height difference between the 11 and the 12-year-olds. The Mudcats may be small in stature, but you'll see in today's game, big on heart. And as we said earlier also, they play more than half of their games against the older kids, and I think that'll show as well.
Game will be officiated by 2 umpires. Behind the plate will be Anthony Guerrero, and Fran Wigali will be on the base pass as teams take to the field for their warm-ups. And on the mound right here for the Long Island Mudcats, he's a good one. Throws 4 pitches, and that is Nick Collins. Speaking to their coach earlier about Collins, says he's a bit cocky, which is good. He's smart and aggressive on the mound. He goes with 4 pitches, as I mentioned: fastball, curve, changeup, and a knuckle drop.
Yeah,
See him warming up right now.
We'll have a fun time watching these kids today. They, as we said, it'll be interesting to watch because although that we're playing on a little smaller field, we have 70-foot bases as opposed to 90, and the pitcher's mound is at 50 feet as opposed to 60 feet 6 inches. You'll see that the young age really doesn't translate because they're mature, they're good players, and have a ton of experience. If you think about it, 165 games that the Bronx Bombers played so far this year, and that's just this year. Think about how many games they've played over the last few years. Probably 400 or 500 games.
And I should just mention that is Rojas on the mound for the Bronx Bombers, who are the home team. Freddie Rojas, the right-hander. Tall, just pretty much goes with 2 pitches, fastball and a changeup. We'll get to see Nick Collins on the mound for the Mudcats when they take to the field. And we're ready to go with the first batter of the game for the Mudcats, and that'll be right fielder Mike McKenna. First pitch is in for a called strike.
Yeah, you see a good fastball to start from Rojas. McKenna took the first pitch because he's going to want to time him. He wants to see how the pitches come in and the speed.
That fastball is swung on and missed, so quickly in the hole is McKenna at 0-2.
Yeah, one thing that the coach said about Rojas is that he has good speed and a good changeup. We'll see when he gets to use that changeup as he strikes out McKenna on 3 pitches.
3 pitches and our first out of the game, so 1 down, and now the pitcher for the Mudcats will take to the plate, and that's Nick Collins.
Pitcher Nick Collins.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Give you the defense for the Bronx Bombers. Rojas on the mound. His battery mate is Fred Reichert. Xavier Vargas around at first, taking on the first pitch in for a called strike. Jordy Toribio at second. Jonathan Fonseca at short. Zach Zemla at third. Give the outfield following this 0-1 pitch. That's outside. Evens the count at 1-1. Defensively for the Bombers in the outfield, left to right, Connie Torres, Mark Maestri, and Matt Mikulski.
Rojas takes the sign from the catcher, Reichelt. High and outside. He's still finding, since it's early on, his release point. Every pitch so far has been the fastball. I think he wants to establish the fastball, find his release point, and work forward from there.
A temporary mound is on the field before the game as he swings through that. Temporary mound brought out onto the field. These kids have played a lot of ball over the last 24 hours as it's a 2-2 count on Nick Collins. Playing a bit shallow in the outfield. Wind is blowing in. Temperature is probably in the high 40s, but a pretty brisk wind, and it's blowing in from the outfield from left field.
I think you'll see that Collins is going to look to try to hit the ball to left as he walks on the full count. He's trying. When you have a fastball pitcher and you've seen him for the first time, you really just want to try to hit the ball up the middle or the other way to time him and just try to get your swing straight.
So that'll bring up the shortstop, Jason Coles, with a runner on first. Vargas will hold on Collins. Collins gets a lead, and he'll draw a throw over by Rojas.
In the young 12 and under game and in the 11 and under game, you can lead and steal. So you'll have a lot of cat and mouse type games between the pitcher and the guy on first base, and also with the catcher.
That pitch in on the inside corner. Rojas working quickly. Collins at first base trying to get a read on the right-hander's pickoff move. Still a short lead at first. That pitch hit on the ground to third. Zemla up with it, goes to second for the force, but he throws it away. And both runners will be safe. Second baseman Jordy Toribio could not come up with the throw by Semler. So the error on the third baseman gives us runners at first and second with 1 away for the first baseman, Anthony Fontana.
Yeah, it looked like when someone picked up the ground ball, he looked over to his left. Toriablo hadn't gotten to the base yet. I think he threw to the location where he saw him, and as Toriablo had to reach back for the ball, it went over his head for the error.
Usually try to throw it to the base where the fielder will be, anticipating that. Throw goes awry, so runners at first and second with one away. First pitch outside, 1-0 on the very tall Anthony Fontana.
Yeah, Fontana is one of the players on the Mudcats that looks the same part as his counterparts. We actually saw the Mudcats here in a tournament in June, and Fontana did very well.
Pickoff attempt to second as Fonseca tries sneaking in behind Collins. And Collins able to get back in. 1-0 the count on Fontana, left-handed batter. Wearing batting gloves on both hands in these cold temperatures. 1-0 hit on the ground to first. That'll go foul. Count evens at 1-1.
Yeah, you pointed out the gloves. In a day like today, you get a ball that's off the hands,
Oof.
it's going to sting, especially with these composite bats that they use today. You're going to get that sting in your hands, and you're going to feel it for at least an inning or two.
That you will. Woke up this morning, 37 degrees. Thought, man, it's baseball weather. So 1-1 the count. Swung on and missed on that high fastball. Fontana in the hole at 1-2.
Yeah, one of the things that Fontana has talked about is, and I talked to him, like I said, in June. He plays first base, he also pitches, but he also loves to hit the ball very far. That's one of his favorite things.
And at this age, these guys get to pitch. They play the field, they get to bat. He'll pitch maybe in one game, play the field in another game. That pitch missing outside evens the count at 2-2. So big left-handed batter on batting cleanup for the Mudcats. Hunter Trakel on deck for Long Island. 2-2 count. Rojas delivers. That ball fisted into right field for a base hit, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Rounding third and coming home is Collins. On his way to third is Cools. He'll be waved around, and on his way to third is Fontana with a 2-run triple.
Fontana took an inside fastball and turned on it, and he hit the ball, and it got in the gap between Maestri and McCluskey out in right center, and as you like to say, it went all the way to the wall, and Fontana ended up at third with a stand-up triple, 2 RBIs, and the Mudcats take that early 2-0 lead off of the Bronx Bombers.
So now a runner at third. The Bronx looks to bring the infield in to try to cut down the run at the plate in Fontana as Hunter Trakel, the left fielder, steps in.
Yeah, with one out now, Trenkel's job is to get that runner in, get the ball past the infield.
That ball fouled away. So 2 runs in, courtesy of the triple by Fontana.
Already, the Bombers have now given up more runs in this one inning than they did yesterday.
Pitch down low. Beautiful AstroTurf field here at Moriches Sports Complex, left to right. Suicide squeeze is on. He lays it down perfectly. Trenkel tagged out by the first baseman Vargas, but an RBI. And a 3-0 lead now for the Long Island Mudcats.
Yeah, the Mudcats did that perfectly. Fontana took off on the pitch. Trenkel knew his job was just to get that ball down to get that run in. Otherwise, Fontana would have been dead at the plate. Perfectly, he just laid the ball down to first baseman Vargas, who tagged him out for the sacrifice on the squeeze.
So Joe Keller now steps in with nobody on. 3 runs in here in the top of the first. Takes called strike 1. Keller out of Levittown, 7th grader. Steps in, that pitch missing outside.
Rojas's pitches have now started to tail into what would be the right-handed hitter's batter's box. I think he's really losing his release point now. His pitches starting to sail up and away, as you saw on that second ball to Keller.
Well, the coaches talk about Joe Keller can be an electric player, left-handed hitter with some power, not big, but strong. Again, on the outside corner, continues to work away from the left-handed batter. Rojas misses again outside.
And as he's pitching also, Rojas with his release over his shoulder, he's falling away from his release point, falling towards the first base. And that might be one of the reasons why a lot of his pitches are tailing away from the lefty batter.
pitch misses up high. So on the full count, it turns into a walk for Keller, who heads down to first base as Pete Sanderson, the catcher, will step to the plate.
Yeah, Pete Sanderson with 2 outs is coming to bat, and we're just waiting for him to come to bat. I guess he had
Get the equipment off.
Yeah, he had his the tools of the trade on there, and he's trying to get his shin guards off so he can come to bat.
Pete Sanderson.
And Russ, it's got to be a little bit tough. These guys have had some time on these fields and stuff, but like I said, a temporary mound, it doesn't matter if it's temporary or permanent, learning the feel of the mound that you're pitching from.
Yeah, and with a temporary mound, as it's pre-made, every mound is different. So the pitcher has to it takes a little bit of time for the pitcher to get used to the mound. As the manager for the Bombers, Eric Semler, comes out to talk to him. And it looks like he's bringing looks like he's making a pitching change already.
Wow. So Rojas has struggled a bit here. No, doesn't look like he's going change pitches. Want to go out and settle him down. The tall right-hander.
It looked like something changed. Look, someone else went into center. Number
was
20
that
went into
Duran?
center. Yeah, George Duran went into center field.
Okay.
We'll pick these up as we get told by the Bombers what they're doing out in the field. We'll pick that up for you in the next few minutes.
Well, it's interesting for the Bombers. They don't have really any substitutions. Everybody plays, whether it be in the field or as an extra hitter. That ball chopped foul down the third baseline.
Yeah, they're batting all 12 of their players here today, so they have 3 extra hitters. So we'll be announcing, you'll hear as a guy is an extra hitter, and basically an extra hitter is someone who is on the roster, on the team, and you're allowed to bat all the members of your team. So that's what they plan to do, as opposed to sitting someone and having them rest.
So Rojas looks into his catcher, Fred Reichert, for the signs. That pitch over the head of Sanderson, and going to second on the wild pitch will be Keller.
Yeah, he still hasn't found that release point. That one, Sanderson ducking out of the way of the fastball over his head. You can see that look on his face looking at the ball behind him as he thought, wow.
You see the runner on second, that's Joe Keller. From the batter here, I'm looking inside part of the plate. And this time he goes outside, because you mentioned, Russ, that Rojas has been a little bit wild on the inside part of the plate to a right-handed batter. Because that first pitch had gone over the head of Sanderson.
Yeah, and you can see where Sanderson's sitting up with his front foot right on the white line.
Better pitch there, fisted to right field. That'll drop in for a base hit, and it goes all the way to the wall. Rounding third and coming in to score is Keller. Sanderson around second. He'll head to third. Here's the relay, the throw. It gets cut off, and it's an RBI triple for Pete Sanderson.
Pete Sanderson did exactly what he should do there. There was an outside pitch, and he took it and he pushed it out towards right field. McCluskey did everything he could to try to get the ball and cut it off before it got past him, and he could not. As Sanderson motored around the bases with an RBI, and he brought in the 4th run. And as you see now, Sanderson, since he is a catcher, gets to get run for. Pitchers and catchers, one of the rules in USSSA is that when they're in the field, when they are on the bases, they get to get run for, so they get to get themselves ready for the next inning.
Trinkle into pinch hit as Mike Conway takes that first pitch inside. There was the wild pitch that advanced Keller to second base as that ball is ripped into center field, and that'll drop, and another run will come home. Conway with an RBI single, and he'll be on first base, but 5 runs across here in the top of the first for the Long Island Mudcats.
Yeah, the Mudcats are hitting the ball very well. When we spoke earlier to their coach, Mike McKenna, he said that his team is a very good hitting team. They just see the ball and they hit the ball. And that's what they seem to be doing right now. They're finding gaps. They're hitting line drives.
Lou Ferrino, extra hitter, takes that pitch off the brim of his helmet. So the wildness continues for Rojas.
Yeah, Rojas is having some trouble now as he's been all inning inside to the right-handed batters, and that one Ferrino took it right off the brim, and he actually wears a mask on his face as well.
Yep. Showed no signs of injury at all, just deflected off the brim. What an inning so far for the Long Island Mudcats. As that pitch taken in for a strike. How about this? 5 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, and 1 error committed by the Bronx Bombers. So now it looks like a pitching change might be made as the coach comes out to the mound in a situation that, Bronx Bombers have not been in this tournament at all.
Yeah, looking now what happened earlier, I think that Duran went into center field to let number 99, which is Mark Maestri, who was in center. I guess he was warming up, tall lefty. He was warming up, and he's going to be coming into pitch for the Bombers.
So Duran in center field. Maestri will come in. Rojas will come out. So the change needed to be made. They wanted to go with him as long as he could, but obviously control was a problem. So they ended up making the change.
And now we'll watch Maestri take his warm-up pitches, and he'll get used to that temporary mound that we see. The pitcher's mound 50 feet away.
I guess at this age, it doesn't take too long to warm up.
Well, he was also in the game, and they took him out just so that he can get his warm-up pitches down the right field line behind the first base dugout, which is where the Bombers are today.
Tall left-handed pitcher. And as we mentioned, talking to the coaching staff, they mentioned basically Rojas was probably the number 3 pitcher in the chain for the Bombers. So strong pitching core, but Rojas just did not have it here in this first inning, which shows the Long Island Mudcats with a 5-0 advantage.
Yeah, they took advantage of Rojas's wildness. And I looked at times that Rojas may have been trying to just aim the ball down the middle, and maybe that was the times when Fontana and Sanderson got those triples, able to hit the ball that was basically laid over the plate for them. As you see, Maestri will take his warm-ups. His hat for his first few pitches was a little off to the side, a la CC Sabathia. He has it now also as well.
About 200 pounds lighter than Sabathia, I might add.
And he's wearing number 99, like Rick
Charlie Sheen.
Rick Vaughn, Wild Thing.
Let's hope it's not that way on the mound here as he's taking his warm-up pitches. He's ready to go. As the second baseman, Sean Wilderman, will bat for the Mudcats as they've batted around here in the first inning.
Yeah, the Mudcats did something that no one else has been able to do so far in this tournament to the Bombers. Let's put up runs and take an early lead.
That bunt attempt is fouled away. Runners at first and second. Conway down at second. He reached on a RBI single and advanced to second as Lou Ferrino was hit by a pitch. He's down at first. So 5-0, 2 runners on. New pitcher for the Bronx Bombers.
Right, and Fonseca at short, staying somewhat close to second. Now he's moving away so that Conway can take a lead.
Pitch outside, evens the count at 1-1. Defensively, I guess it's got to be a little bit hard to determine how far to play some of these players. And with this AstroTurf-style field, the ball really scoots by. Once it hits the ground, we've seen 2 balls get past the outfield.
Yeah, you'll see this turf here at the Moriches Athletic Complex is actually on a rubber base. And playing out, I've played softball here, and what happens is a ball off the bat, if it hits the ground, is actually going to
Topspin.
Gets the topspin. But at the first, if it's going to hit, if it slices also sometimes, you have to adjust yourself to see if it's going to get the topspin or a slice.
Breaking ball missing outside, evens the count at 2-2.
Definitely that second bounce will always come at you fast with a lot of topspin. And it's sometimes hard to figure out where the ball's going.
2-2 pitch swung on and missed, and mercifully the side is retired by the Bronx Bombers. But the Mudcats pick up 5 runs on 3 hits. They leave 2 on base at the end of 1/2 inning. Long Island Mudcats 5, the Bronx Bombers coming to bat. You're watching Championship Travel Baseball on Optimum.
The Metro Long Island United States Specialty Sports Association organized and sanctioned the tournament you're watching today. For more information about the USSSA, call 631-482-3264, extension 700. Play the best. Play USSSA.
You locate your nearest shelter, you go down there, and you pick out the perfect match for you. Me. I'm afraid to open my eyes. I'm afraid yesterday was all a dream. And I'll wake up and still be in the shelter. 1, 2, 3.
The Global Recreation Network and the USSSA is bringing the Junior Golf Tour to Long Island. Boys and girls between the ages of 9 and 18 will play on some of the island's best courses. Winners qualify for the championship in Orlando. Call today. Play the best.